What's up, guys? Today's a prediction video for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie. This is scheduled for one day before the movie releases, so this video is just going to be what I think is going to happen in the movie. Like, I think we're going to see the bite of 87 happen, but not how you think. In the beginning of the trailer, we can see the van of ghost hunters, and we see who we think is Jeremy Fitzgerald. But this movie's lore is different than the game, so what I think is going to happen is he's going to get bit by Mangle in the head or something. And that would be the bite of 87. Either that or Toy Chica bites his frontal lobe. Either way, though. Speaking of Mangle, I think this will be Kids Cove, and where the kids kind of came and tore her apart and then put her back together wrong, but that's kind of a far stretch. Another thing, after I started editing this a couple days later, the same day, we got a clip of Pirates Cove. And look who's on the flag, Mangle. I guess technically this wouldn't be the bite of 87 since the movies take place in the 2000s, but it's also probably going to be Jeremy Fitzgerald we see in this clip right here. Another thing I think is we'll see Shadow Freddy, or Shadow Bonnie would be cool too, since they're both in the FNAF 2 game. Editing Weston here. A couple days after I started editing this, turns out they're doing a giveaway now, and look who's in it, Shadow Bonnie. There's no way he's not in this movie. Because in the movie, we see her stuffed in Shadow Freddy, which doesn't make complete sense according to the game, but this movie's lore is different, so I'm just going to ignore it. Also, real quick, I thought I'd just throw this in. This scene right here where we see Foxy's eye flickering, I think this will be like FNAF 2 whenever he's seeing through the mask or something, and Mike doesn't know that yet. For sure, in this movie, we're going to be seeing Fredbear's Family Diner, because it looks like Charlie and Vanessa were good friends there, so it makes sense, because we see in the picture with William Afton and Vanessa, so it also makes sense why Charlie's there, because the puppet was there in the game. I guess it's going to be there in the movies, too. And maybe we'll see Garrett, too, and that's how Vanessa gets the airplane. But this also means we'll see William Afton and Spring Bonnie and Henry Emily and Golden Freddy / Fredbear. Now this I think is kind of interesting. How could Abby have those pictures on her wall of the toy animatronics and the pirate ship we see in Pirates Cove unless she's been there before? Maybe she went there a couple times and the animatronics gonna ask her to do the code to build up her trust. Here's one thing I kind of think. For the 10-year anniversary, Scott released 4 pages of the FNAF 2 script, but only one of them were true, so we're gonna talk about them. The first one is about government and talking about how the tech is too dangerous. That one just doesn't really make sense. Seems like it's too crazy just for the second movie, I think. The second one we see is about a man taking his 2 kids down under a carousel. Like there's an underground to a carousel. So I think that this might be the sister location. Behind the scenes, we see a humanoid looking animatronic experiment just like in the sister location. William Afton was trying to make his kids again. And we also see the yellow iPad thing that we see in sister location behind the scenes. And I saw Film Theory talk about this, but I want to go a little more in depth about it. So hear me out. What if in the movie, Vanessa accidentally got spring locked, and that's why she tells Abby to be careful around the spring lock suit. And after she gets spring locked, William Afton realizes that she's still alive after, and that you can attach your soul to metal. So what he does is create a torture Freddy device from kids that he kills. Hey, Editing Weston here. Another big piece of evidence is why would William Afton keep the pizzeria open after it's closed? Unless he needed something else. Like maybe the security guards that he hires, he uses them for Remnant. That's why he gave Mike the job. And that's why we see this security guard get tortured by the tortured Freddy device for Remnant. Okay, back to the video. It also makes sense because of the security breach ending where we see 2 Vanessas. This one basically talks about a boy getting a sickness. Mike learns that they have to burn the plushies or whatever. This one basically just talks about how Abby and Mike realize they need to burn the plushies. And we do see a bunch of puppet plushies around the pizzeria, so maybe. But I doubt it. And the last script page is basically about Toy Chica telling Abby to put in some sort of code to free them from their code. I think the code would be 1983 or something like that. Or whenever in the movie universe Charlie gets killed. Because Henry Emily's the one that makes this child protective malware that we learn about in FNAF 2 phone call. Abby's gonna get this code from a newspaper we get from Henry Emily in the movie. Like maybe Mike gets it from Henry after talking to him. And she goes in his room, finds it on the bed, sees how his daughter died in 1983 and puts that code in. But basically, Toy Chica gets freed after Abby puts in the code, and the toy animatronics are free to roam around the town and cause havoc. Another thing that's weird is Balloon Boy gets decapitated by the looks of it. So who is this in the water if we see him get decapitated, unless this happens before? Unless it's JJ. And then about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 pizzeria. We see a pirate ship, Kids Cove kind of area. I think this is where Mangle probably is gonna be, and then this is where the kids took her apart and then put her back together wrong. Now this I think is kind of interesting. How could Abby have those pictures on her wall of the toy animatronics and the pirate ship we see in Pirates Cove unless she's been there before? Maybe she went there a couple times, and the animatronics gonna ask her to do the code to build up her trust. Also, I think the toys are going to be half possessed and half just coded AI, kind of like in the games, but that's just my opinion. Also, this isn't like the games, at least in my opinion, where the toys were built from parts from the Wizards, because the movie lore is different. Because the originals become the Wizards from the building falling on them in the original, and the toys already exist, so that wouldn't make sense. Another thing, what if the puppet has two souls in it, like Golden Freddy in the games? What if Garrett and Charlie are both in the puppet? But that's kind of a stretch. But who else would Garrett be in? I think this movie will either end with Henry Emily putting the code back on them, the puppet stopping them, or the Wizards/originals beating them. But yeah, guys, that's just my prediction for the movie. And the day after the movie comes out, guys, I'm going to be doing a video where first half is no spoilers talking about the movie, and the second half is full spoilers and what the movie's all about. And after that, I plan on posting a full timeline of what we have of the movie so far. But yeah, December 5th, make sure to check out my Twitter, guys, posting a picture of me and the puppet at the theater. And I'll see y'all in the next one.